Yeah, so I'm really, really excited to be here, and we've got some pretty fun stuff planned, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And I know we had a conversation before, and you were talking a lot about your mission towards mental health and awareness now. And
yeah, no, it's the mental health side of things is really incredible. I mean, for mental health and suicide prevention, many people don't know this, but 3 out of 4 suicides are by men. And something that we're really trying to do is break the stigma of mental health issues. Many people, steer away from the tough conversation, and we're really, really encouraging men to open up and talk about what's going on in their lives. It seems to really, really help, and the programs that we are funding, that's what they encourage. And so, yeah, it should be great.
we wanted to talk about barbecue safety and food safety as well. This is the time we're spending, more time outside, around the grills. I think, maybe, I know there's more men that love being in the kitchen, but maybe they feel more comfortable by the barbecue, it seems. So I think it's important to talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely.
As well. Yeah. So first recipe, we're going to get right into, and we're going to be actually using the grill to transform these beautiful vegetables.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so we have, and I know we're talking about manly food, and maybe vegetables is maybe not the first thing that comes to mind, but we're going to actually make these delicious, and we're going to add some character.
Right.
And we can use the barbecue and spend some more time outside, then sure, that helps. Yes.
So a lot of, many times we think of barbecuing and grilling, and sometimes what comes to mind is those cancer-causing chemicals that may form through the grill and barbecuing from charring and burning. But actually it's safe to have vegetables. Those cancer-causing chemicals from carcinogens don't come from vegetables. So we're recommending have all the vegetables, get lots of your colors, eat the rainbow, get the antioxidants because those are protecting your cells. And Jeremy's going to give us some tips and tricks on the best ways to grill the vegetables. And we'll talk a little bit more in our next recipe about grilling animal products on the barbecue.
Absolutely, yeah. So the vegetables, are really up to you.
Right on.
We went with this sort of ratatouille theme. So ratatouille is a very classic French dish. You got a lot of your summer vegetables, your zucchinis, your eggplants, your tomatoes, your peppers. So we're going to take all those and slice them about a quarter of an inch thick. So when we're looking at zucchini, we want to do, and we can do lengthwise like this, and about a quarter of an inch. So it's not spending too much time on the grill.
Right.
The thinner it's going to cook, or the thinner it's cut, the faster it's going to cook.
Okay.
If it's too thin, it's just going to disintegrate. Right. So about a quarter of an inch thick, and you can throw them on the grill, medium-high heat, and like Stephanie said, do not be afraid to get some color on there. Get your grill marks on there. That's just the caramelization of the sugars in your vegetables. So you're going to transform the flavor, and it's especially for the non-veggie lovers. I think maybe this might be a good way to open that conversation.
Does it flavor it up?
Exactly. Yeah. So you're going to make things a little bit sweeter.
Right.
They're going to be a little softer as well.
Yeah.
So a great way to treat vegetables. And obviously we're in the basement here. We don't have our charcoal barbecue going. They wouldn't allow us to do that. But you can do this indoors as well. I'm doing it obviously indoors. I have these little cast iron grill pans. And we can get the same amount of color and charring that we do on top of the cast iron. If you're using barbecue, you're working with flame, you're working with fire, you just want to make sure you're controlling it because you don't want to burn it to a crisp. It'll taste bitter after, right?
Yeah, you don't want that.
Exactly. So once we have our vegetables grilled, and it doesn't take too long, about 5 minutes or so, we can, till they're soft and lightly colored like this, we can take them off. And one thing to remember as well is we're not dressing these before we put them on our barbecue. So I know a lot of people put a marinade first. They oil them or salt them first. The problem with that is a lot of oils will burn at a higher smoking point.
Right.
So anytime you see that smoke coming off, that is the oil burning. That's not a good thing from a health perspective, and then it's also going to be tasting bitter at that point too. If your grill is hot enough, your vegetables should not stick. Once they get a little bit of color, it will release. So as long as you keep your barbecue clean, put them on dry, get them grilled, and we're gonna season after,
Okay.
right? So now, we're gonna get you to practice your mindfulness and
All
get
right.
you to do some work.
All right,
first
perfect.
today.
Let's do it.
So with this recipe, the beautiful thing too is we're just gonna treat this pretty roughly.
Great.
We just want a nice rough chop. So what I do is I just honestly throw all the vegetables on your cutting board and your plank with your knife. And actually, I'm gonna throw the basil on there as well.
Okay.
So we're just gonna roughly work through this.
All right.
Pretty simple. And with your knife, what we're gonna do is hand on top. We
Okay.
call this a rock chop.
All right.
So, and tip down,
Yep.
and we're gonna just rock through exactly
There you go.
the vegetables. Those fingers out of the way ensures that they will remain where they are, and you will not separate them from your hand, which is a good thing. So, and this is like just a great way, just throw it on top. We're working the basil, we're bruising the basil a little bit, getting those flavors going. Everything is sort of coming together, and this is a really nice, rough, grilled salad. But it's got a little bit more character for sure than your regular salad. So keep working through that. I'm gonna start with our dressing here. Pretty simple. We're using some red wine vinegar. It's gonna go in. We've got some olive oil here. You know we love our olive oil. And like I said, it's better to dress after. I mean, olive oil's got some beautiful flavor, some really nice fruity flavor. Anytime you heat that up, you're losing that. Even if you don't get it to the point where it's smoking, you're kind of destroying the flavor of the olive oil.
Oh, that's good to know.
So we're gonna use it, especially the good stuff.
Yeah, the extra olive,
Yeah.
the extra virgin.
So we're gonna put that in there just like this. We'll add a little pinch of salt. Whole garlic head, you can throw that on the grill too. You can even wrap it up with some foil, put it on the barbecue till it gets really nice and soft like this. And then it should like just squeeze out. And this is tasty, tasty stuff. And again, the flavor will be completely transformed from something that can be pretty intense, pretty powerful, have a heat to it, to an absolute very sweet, caramelized flavor, and it works really, really well.
So the oil's in that. Do they cook it itself then? You don't have to put anything on it when you put it on the grill?
It's really the water in here. So you can put a little bit of oil if you want, but honestly, if you wrap it up, the water content in there will just slowly
that's incredible.
caramelize and cook down. So the garlic is going to go in there. We're going to do a little whisk just to combine everything together. Awesome job with the veggies.
I tried.
Do you want to throw them in here?
Absolutely.
All right. And one thing that we also wanted to add here, and I know, Travis, you said you've never cooked with these guys before.
Never, no.
These are red lentils. Who's cooked with red lentils before? Okay. If you don't have these in your pantry, get them in your pantry. I think these are probably the best bang for your buck in terms of adding like a quick protein to your meals. Nutrition-wise, like, what are we talking here?
So you know that being overweight or obese may contribute to increased risk of advanced prostate cancer. So controlling that through diet and exercise is really important. So adding plant-based proteins to dishes is one way to maintain weight through because of the protein and the fiber. So these are two factors that are actually helping you be fuller for longer. And so in terms of red lentils, I would say about 1 cup of cooked red lentils is 6 grams of protein, or 8 grams. So you are, getting, like for a salad, that's really a good amount. And there's also fiber in there as well. And there's fiber in the vegetables too. So kind of combining those two factors into a salad is really beneficial for weight management.
And awesome job on the veg. We're gonna add some sun-dried tomatoes for flavor.
Yeah, and so lycopene, which is a pigment that actually gives fruit or vegetables its red color, is also really important in terms of the decreased risk of prostate cancer or risk of reoccurrence, because there's a lot of associations of the way that the lycopene works in the body. And so some good sources of lycopene can be tomatoes, and actually heating up tomatoes helps the body absorb the lycopene even better. And when you add olive oil to that, you're adding that extra kick to get all the lycopene in as well. So sun-dried tomatoes are a great option to add to salads, sandwiches, and soups. And so specifically for this dish, we were looking at bumping up the lycopene content.
The recipes are very thought through. We're not
Yes.
just
Oh,
cooking for cooking with. So, and then to kick up the flavor, I always like to finish everything with a sharp cheese. We love using sharp cheeses too because you don't need a lot, right? You just need a little bit, and it really adds a lot of flavor. So you can use like a Parmesan cheese, really nice, a lot of flavor there. This is a pecorino cheese, which is aged like a parm. It's aged, but it's a sheep's milk cheese. So I love that sort of tang that it adds too. So we're just gonna add a little bit.
Everybody loves cheese.
Everybody loves cheese. Yeah, and this is for the whole salad. So a little bit of cheese on there, and that is it. Grilled ratatouille and lentil salad. Beautiful.
Yes.